Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I interview founders, entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, amazing people all around the world of crypto and blockchain. And today I'm looking forward to this interview. I have an amazing guest. She is the program manager at Web3 Ladies. Her name is Nkechi, Charis, Enebeli. Nkechi, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. In addition to that, I am also the community developer for UGLYCASH here in Africa. I'm more actively as a community developer for UGLYCASH now.
That's great because I had an amazing interview with UGLYCASH earlier this season. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
And I think he was in South America.
Yes.
So, wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So let's kick things off. I want to find out, first, what is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
Yeah, I would say yes. My background is kind of it's more of a mix of entrepreneurship, community building, content creating, right? So I started as the program manager at Web3 Ladies, and then I moved on to becoming, at Web3 Ladies, I helped with managing initiatives, organizing events and all of that. And then I moved on to building on Base, the Base blockchain, as a non-technical builder, where I contributed actively to the growth of Base in Africa through community building, education, more like educative workshops, meetups, content, and all of that, right? So I would say that my foundation, all of these formed a building block and a foundation for me in my journey into the Web3 space. And then I would also say that everything that I've done up till now, right, has prepared me for this moment, right, to lead in the intersection or at the intersection of technology, community building, and education. And I would also like to add the fact that when we say Web3 is not all about the blockchain or token, because I'm speaking from the non-technical perspective, right? It encompasses community building, education, content, right? And all of this is what has contributed to my growth so far in the space.
Excellent. So I had to look back. I spoke with Gabriel Jimenez.
Yeah, that's the founder of UGLYCASH.
And also, which country are you in Africa?
I'm currently in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Yeah, let's ask you first. Let me ask you first what Web3 Ladies is all about, and your role in managing transformative projects, and then also UGLYCASH and your role of creating a more inclusive Web3 ecosystem.
Okay, so for Web3 Ladies, it's more of a talent accelerator and a community with the mission to increase female participation, leadership, and ownership in the Web3 space, right? Our Web3 Ladies, we're not just building a future where women can be invited or take part in conversations, right? We're building one where these women actually lead conversations. And we've seen that over the years in the amount of amazing and incredible ladies we've, trained in the space. And then so we organize trainings, and we help to equip the ladies with the necessary skills that they need to excel in the space. And then my role centered around strategy, ensuring every activity runs smoothly, unblocking blockers, managing initiatives, finding gaps in the space, in the industry, and then designing programs to solve those gaps or to bridge those gaps. And then just ensuring that we are actually helping ladies, beyond just the information. So yeah. And then for UGLYCASH, like I mentioned, I'm the community developer for UGLYCASH in Africa, and my role involves helping to create a community around the products for UGLYCASH here, thereby increasing adoption for the products in Africa. And we started in August, and it has been amazing so far. We've been able to grow because one thing about growth or adoption for products is it goes beyond the technology itself. I mean, people don't really care about what what you're building. Like, they don't care about the infrastructure behind what you're building. They just care about it solving their problem one and being part of something. People want to be part of the growth process of a product. They want to be an integral part of your project, right? And that's where community come in, where we been able to convert users to members, so not just users, but to community members, and then not just community members to advocates, right? And that transition takes place when they become a part of the project. So when people feel like they are a part of the success of something and they feel seen and acknowledged, it helps with adoption as well. So that's kind of not kind of that's what I'm doing for UGLYCASH here in Africa.
Great. So a lot of projects. Every crypto project, well, not every, but almost every, tries to develop a community that supports their coin. Some support project itself beyond the coin. I want to find out from you, what does it take to grow Web3 adoption from the ground up in emerging markets?
What it takes to grow Web3 adoption from ground up. You mentioned something about creating a community. I mean, that's very important, right? But I would say that one of the community is very important in every product. There's no project or no successful products you see out there today that does not have a community, an active community, or once did not have a community in their startup phase. Like, community is more like the foundation for every adoption, right? Especially in the Web3 space. And so I would say that what it would take to grow Web3 adoption from ground up in emerging markets, one would be to focus on local context over global hype. And what that means is adoption grows when the tech or what you're building solves daily local problems, not just glorifying, the app hype or like chasing after global hypes, right? So and so to be able to like achieve this, builders need to focus on building products that actually solve real problem, right? So they should focus on building to solve a problem rather than building in search of a problem. There's something that Jesse always says. Jesse Polak, the founder of Biz, is like is always like build build what people need, right? Build what people need, because you can build the finest product or the best tech, but if people don't need that product, if people don't want that product, if it's not solving a problem in everyday life of people, then it's just going to die off, right? So that is one, and that then boils into community, creating a community around whatever it is that you're building. People, as someone that builds or someone that is building a product, you need to have the community structure, because that is what is going to help to actually drive adoption. Because when people feel like they're part of your product, you have to create a community of people that believe in what you're building, and not just believe in it, they actually go beyond believing but becoming advocates of your products. That alone is going to help to push and increase adoption for whatever it is that you're building.
You said something interesting there that I don't think too much about. I guess I take credit for granted because I'm in the US. Or you said build a global global solution that solves local problem. Now,
Yeah.
I don't see that enough. I don't see that local. Like, I see it. Okay, well, this solves this overall arching thing to bring people into the Web3, but it doesn't like say, okay, this is a coin for this specific geographic region best. You know, I don't. I used to see that in the ICO days. You know, they didn't have an MVP, a working MVP, but I don't see that now. I see just everybody has a global solution. So what
So
would
the
be?
thing is,
Yeah.
okay, so explain what I meant is when you're building, don't just direct your building to, oh, I want to solve one problem. Okay, let's say you're in Africa or you're in Nigeria, for instance, and you're building, and then you're thinking about the problem being faced in the US or in the UK, and then trying to build for that. The idea is that build from where you are. So build locally, build to solve the problem of your neighbor, of the next person, because this is what you can see. This is the problem you're seeing in this particular locality and society. You want to solve that. Once you're able to build to solve that, the littlest local problem, then you can now find a way to scale it globally. So the idea is to build locally, build to solve local everyday problem where you are right now, and then scale globally.
Where you're at, what would be some local problems that you think would need solving right away that could then scale?
I mean, one in Nigeria, one major problem is actually payments. I think that's why you see most products or most crypto products building payment solution, because for me that is an African or a Nigerian, I'm unable to pay for things, right? Most times online, I struggle with my local cards because I can't use them. So if imagine a Nigerian, this is a problem that we are facing here. So if you build a product that actually solves that problem, that I can be able to pay for things when I want to buy things, I can be able to pay for them online and get them. I can be able to send money to my friend or my family in another location right here from where I am in Nigeria. I mean, that is going to help to solve that kind of solution can actually scale globally to solve problems, right? Let's say again, you are building a solution around, let's say, maybe events or even invoice keeping or receipts, like being able to create a solution that helps businesses to manage their invoice or manage their accounts. Such a problem affects you or your neighbor locally, your neighbor doing small business, right? They don't know how to manage their accounts or invoices. So imagine building a solution like that. You're solving the problem of the next person, like a local problem, but that solution can actually be scaled globally. So let's say invoice solution, payment solution, all these solutions were created to solve local problems, but there are solutions that actually have the capacity to scale globally because many other localities also have or experience such problems or issues.
Interesting. So when we're looking at building, right, there are a lot of nuances in Web3 projects, and the founders and entrepreneurs are not considering those nuances, right? So what are those nuances that you feel that are being overlooked and that they should be looking at?
I would say that, just like you said, most founders don't really focus on those nuances, but they're important, right? Let's say most founders actually think that their products fail or think that Web3 products fail because of the tech, the tech behind it or the technology. But it actually goes beyond that. Like everything that I've been saying so far, it can fail because of lack of good GTM, that's go to market strategy, because technical founders are all about building, building the best tech, coding the best products. So they emphasize and they focus so much on the tech, and they put less effort in GTM. And so that usually affects the scalability of a product because people don't care about the infrastructure or how good the tech is. They want to be able to, if your product is not being seen by people, if you're not getting to the users that actually need to use these products, if people are not seeing it to use them, then it's just good for nothing, right? So it won't scale. Then another thing is also user experience, right? So creating the products, making it so good that people actually don't experience friction in using them. Making the user experience as simple as ABC. That also helps because again, you focus so much on building such a good tech, and then there are so many complexities. So if you want your product to scale, you need to be able to abstract all of the complexities as much as possible and make it as plain as like if I'm a user and I'm using a product, I don't want to feel like I'm using a crypto product. Or I'm using tech. I don't want to feel like it's tech. I want to just feel like, oh, I'm talking to somebody and I'm just, it's just so easy. Just make it very easy. So things that can make your project fail is lack of emphasizing or focusing on the GTM, side of things, because it's one thing to build and it's another thing to push it and for people to see and use it, right? So I think that the crux or the bulk of successful product actually depends mostly on the GTM, because you built it already, right? But people need to use it. So GTM, user experience, because again, there can be GTM, good GTM, like good go to market. People are hearing about your product and seeing your product, but when they get on board, it's so complex. It's there's so much friction in using it. It's not easy, or it's not easily understandable. So those things can actually kill a product from growing, right? And then I think those are like two major things in my opinion. And then another thing could be tokenizing, like your project, of like, let's say you launch a product and then the next 3 months you're like, oh, we are bringing a token for this product, we're launching our native token and whatnot. People are hyped and excited about that, and then they come on board for the token, right? And then after the token comes and they gain what they want to gain, most people just slip off, and then you've lost a lot of money in that, and you've also lost value. So you should focus more on making your product as easy as possible to reduce friction and reduce barrier to entry, and then focus on the GTM side of things. Those are those are two main important things for products to scale.
That makes a lot of sense in theory. In practical.
Why do you say in theory?
Because one of the popular things to get things to market is airdrops, right? And so
airdrops are good, but they are actually one of the fastest ways to kill a product. Because if you build a product and the product is not maybe really solving a problem that people really need, or there's still so much friction on your product, you would launch airdrop and you will see a lot of people around your product flocking around it because of the airdrop. I think that is okay to drop, but maybe like towards the middle of your scaling, like you've scaled already, maybe more, it should be more of compensating effort or compensating participation, and not because you want to launch. I don't think that airdrop is good. I mean, sometimes it can be good at launch phase, depending on the product again. So that's why I said user experience and the complexity needs to be abstracted. So if there's no complexity and user experience is great and it's actually solving a problem, like it's really solving a problem, then introducing airdrop at the beginning might not so much affect it, right? But if all of those things are not there, then airdrop is going to just kill your product. Yeah. But I would recommend that you should actually launch such towards like 2 years or 3 years of actually building that product, because by that time you already have believers, you already have people that are actually using your product because they want to use it, because it's solving a problem they've imagine having a user base of people that actually believe in your product, that are using your products, that are even advocates, right? Without you giving them anything, without you I mean, you're giving them something because you're solving a problem for them, right? But without the airdrop, then that is real participation. That is real commitment. That is real loyalty. Now, when you reward that with airdrop at a later date or a later time, it builds and it makes the product grow better. But imagine just starting out and giving out airdrop. People are literally coming to your product because of the airdrop. And if you're unable to maybe sustain users, or your products, has some glitches and whatnot, you will just definitely just lose out. But you have spent a lot of money on airdrop already, and you've lost that on it. So I think you should focus more on building something that people need. When you do that, you don't need to use airdrop to entice people. People actually come around because you're solving a problem. And then after that, if you now reward participation over time with airdrop, it's better. It sticks better and lasts better.
Okay, I agree with everything you said. I'm just trying to look at the timeline here. I'm looking at traditional companies. A traditional non-crypto, like Web3, non-Web3 company, like they will build a product, they will test it out, they'll get it in the local market, then they'll grow and they'll do an IPO and become public, and the IPOs later on down the line. So what you're saying is the token drop, the airdrop should happen at the same point, similarly as the IPO, but in the beginning, which is right now, is the airdrops in the beginning to fund the project. If you're not funding the project with the airdrop, and what are you funding the project with, and how are you getting it out there locally, so that it can grow and you can get word of mouth and you can scale? What is that mechanism that will launch, your company into being a useful product? How do you do that?
From the very beginning, I think the focus should be on, again, okay, education, right? So people need to understand the products. So you need to put as much as possible educational materials out there, and then reach out to people where they are. You can utilize social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, put out educational content, and then probably promote this content to your um your target audience or your target users, because best believe that if people come across an educational content about a product that's really solving a problem for them, then they're going to come on board. So you can reach people digitally, or you can actually reach them physically, like putting into some other structures physically to reach your target audience. But the idea is that once your product is solving a problem and people come across such products, best believe you're going to convert those people. So you have to use, maybe if you're putting out a content, or you're putting out something to get people, it has to be something that people can see and understand the value proposition of your product immediately, right? From the like first 10 seconds or first 5 seconds, they already understand what it does. And as long as it's solving their problem, they would come on board.
I like your thinking. I think it's just great business sense. I think it's great. Now I want to shift gears a little bit toward back to Web3 ladies. I'm looking at my percentages of listeners. Over the past 2 years, my women listeners have decreased from 22% to 16%. I like to get more back. You know, uh, and my guest this season, I have a little bit less women than I usually have. You know, how do you attract more women into the Web3, space, especially since recently with all the events that have happened in the industry? How do you get them to be more interested in what would be the benefit of them coming back?
I think there's so many things that actually hangs on education. Like education is just the major key for so many things, because for ladies, one thing that holds ladies back is the mindset. That is like one of the biggest thing, because ladies already feel defeated in their minds that, oh, this space. And I would say that because I also experienced such before I got onboarded to the Web3 space. I know it took me like years to actually decide to get started, because initially I was like, oh, I don't think this space is for me. I feel it's too technical. I feel it's for the male folks. And I'm not so much of a technical person, so I don't think I have my place here, or I can find a fit, right? So that was the mindset, and that's the mindset of a lot of other ladies. So they feel like this is not a place for them. And so, what can actually help with that again is education. Coming up with, okay, in my communities, having like women focused communities like we're ladies, coming up with educational initiatives that are going to help broaden the mindset, of ladies, letting them know that this space is actually even for them, right? And they can excel here, right? So helping to reduce the barrier to entry through education, and also providing them with like helping ladies with necessary things that they need. Like for instance, though, we had an initiative, our ladies, called the Work Tool Initiative, because we noticed that we're trying to bridge the gap, right, to increase participation of ladies and representation of ladies in the Web3 space. But one issue that they were having, and I think this is an issue that every gender has, not just the ladies, is work tool. So they lacked like um adequate work tool to be able to transition. Some of them didn't have laptops, some of them don't have access to data, and then electricity was also a problem. So we were able to solve that by introducing the work tool initiative to help sponsor work tools for ladies. So that was one, right? So in as much as you're giving us information and education, you also want to make sure that you are removing more than just educational barriers to help ease the transition for ladies. So, but anyways, in the large scheme of things, it boils down to education and creating a safe space for ladies. because again, sometimes or most times ladies don't find a place that they fit in. So in the Web3 space, communities like Web3 ladies help with that, and many other women-focused communities create an environment and a space for ladies to feel like they belong, for ladies to feel welcome, feel being able to connect with other ladies of like minds like themselves, right? So that helps with more ladies participating. And then if ladies that are also like that have also gone ahead in the space and have become powerhouses in the space, also open their hands or their doors to more ladies by like being mentors or coming out more, building in public. It inspires other ladies to also aspire to be like them, and it helps to conquer the barrier in their minds that they have towards the space. When they see other ladies succeeding or excelling, they feel like they know that, oh, this is something that they can actually also do if other ladies are doing it. So not just seeing the ladies alone doing that, if after they've seen that, they're able to be mentored by those ladies, or they're able to see a space or a community where they can belong and also grow and contribute to in a safe space that helps to grow the ladies, just like Web3 ladies and every other Web3 lady focused community. I think that also helps to reduce to bridge the gap and increase the presentation of ladies, because that's what helped me. Being a part of Web3 ladies really helped me, and there's many other ladies. I know many other ladies that came to Web3 ladies because in the community we have different initiatives. We have the mentorship program where we train the ladies, and then we have like work tool initiative where we help with work tools for the ladies. So all of these things put together actually helped ladies to find their foot and help them have a good start and a good push in the space. So if all these things are not there, it's not going to be very easy to see many more ladies in the Web3 space, actually.
Awesome. I think so. But when I think of Africa, especially Africa, and then Middle East to an extent, I think of the uses of blockchain. I think of last mile solutions. I think of like blockchain use for people talk about this less and less nowadays, but I still see blockchain being used usefully for last mile solutions. My question on there is, how can projects focused on last mile solutions offer us insights into first rate innovations?
Okay. So when you talk about last mile solutions, it actually reveals what really matters, because these are solutions that connect to the last user in the chain. Like it's not just about building the products, it's about people using that product, and who are the people using that product down to the last person. So that's what last mile solution reveals. It reveals what really matters, because these are things that people are using every day. So that's what really matters, right? So when you build for users with real constraints, like you mentioned, Africa, for instance, or like in emerging markets like Africa, for instance, with limited data, every other emerging market actually with limited data, weak infrastructure, lack of trust, like that is like one very integral part as well, especially when it comes to like finance solutions. So lack of trust in institutions, your solution naturally becomes simpler, right? It needs to be very simple, no friction. It becomes cheaper, it becomes more transparent, it becomes faster and more resilient. So if your product can actually work in emerging markets, then it will definitely thrive in every other market. So if you're going to combine the two, first rate innovation focuses or builds products that are what's the word? For the lack of proper word to use, like grand scale products, high-end products, right? And then last mile solution focuses on how this technology or this product actually reaches, connects, and benefits the last user in the chain. So if those two things are combined, then I think it's going to really help to in building successful products and also making your product stand out as well. If your product is the top on the chain, let's say for like if your product is like the top of the chain and it's also solving problems down to the last person. It's not just, for instance, let's say, what can I use as an example? Let's say, I don't know what's perfect example to use. Let's say a product that, okay, let's say a B2B product, for instance, a business to business product like let me say, a stablecoin infrastructure, right? That is more for business to business. Now, if it goes beyond just business to business and goes into like business to customer, like customers actually using these products and these products being beneficial to customers, then you have actually been able to offer better solutions that builds better products. I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you can combine the two together, then your products actually definitely would stand out.
Well, I wasn't going to give you the word. Most people use their default word of Bitcoin, but you did it, and I didn't want to give you that word because you said something just before that. You said lack of trust in institutions, and if you look at the crypto landscape today, some different cryptos that had been seen as valueless a few months ago are now attracting tremendous amount of attention, and the narrative out there is that people don't trust BlackRock, who took over the Bitcoin space. So we still have that lack of trust in institutions there, right? So how do you think that we can get beyond that?
Being able to get beyond the lack of trust also still highly depends on two things, which still depends on education and it depends on community. When people feel like there's a presence, okay, you have a product and people can connect it to real humans, people can connect it, people can see like there is a community around such products, there are people that they can connect with, that they can see and connect with. I think that helps to reduce the trust issues that people have. So that is one. And then people getting on board the product and experiencing less friction, because the moment people start experiencing a lot of friction on the product, it starts building anxiety and making them feel like this product, I'm not sure if it's the first thing that just comes to their mind is scam. Once they experience little friction, the first thing that comes to their mind is scam. And in countries or in emerging markets like this, where people have actually been burnt, one of the best ways to get the trust of people is to build a product that is build a product that is solving problem, that has less friction, and build a community around your product. Let people see you, let people be able to connect with you, let people be able to like attach you like something. This is them, this is the product, this is the people, these are the people behind the product. Everybody is docs. They can see the founder, they can connect to the founder, they can speak with you at any time. Your doors are open. There's a community where people can talk, share their ideas, share their pain, share whatever it is, and they are being listened to. So I think all of those things can really go far to help, people building trust around the product. And I would say that is one thing that has helped me so far in causing adoption for UGLYCASH here in Africa, because when people hear about the financial products, they are always just scared. They are always just, because when it has to do with money, the trust is not there at all. What has contributed to trust so far for UGLYCASH here in Africa is the community, the kind of community that we have, the kind of community structure we have, the fact that we are open, we take ideas, we're open to everybody. Like, you can actually feel like you're a part of it. If you come online or go anywhere, you see people calling themselves ugliers, like they've personalized the product, right? Because they can connect, they feel connected, they feel like they're part of it. The community is like an environment where people feel like they belong. You get, so once that is in place, or that's in place, helps to increase the trust, score of people, like letting them believe in the product, and then coming on board, and they're not experiencing friction. It's simple, it's easy. They're putting their money, it lands immediately. They can see their money, they can see it growing, they can withdraw their money. All of those things help to increase the trust. So for me, what helps me so far, I'm going to use myself as an example, is that community that we built. The community we built around, because we launched UGLYCASH in Africa in August officially, and that's like 4 months. And now we have like we ranked the I think number we got to number 9 on the most downloaded financial apps in Nigeria. And right now we are having like we have more than over 30,000 downloads already in Nigeria, and then we already have like almost 3,000 active users using the products, and we have a lot of people online calling themselves ugliers, you know. So it's really interesting, because what's really helped is that community structure, and the fact that the app has less friction. You know, people are seeing the solution that is really solving. People coming on board, and they're they're seeing the solution, they're experiencing it. So that really helps to eradicate distrust.
Awesome. I think it's wonderful. I like it a lot. So, and I was going to ask you about friction, but you answered that as part of the answer. So I was like, this is good. This is good. All right. So, I want to thank you very much, for your time today. It's been an enjoyable conversation, and I have one last question. It's, how can people find out more information about you, about what you're up to, about Web3 ladies, about UGLYCASH? How can they do that?
Where people can find information, I think that would be on. I think I'm actually active everywhere. I'm on X. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. So you can literally find me anywhere. On LinkedIn, you can find me with my name, Nkechi Charis Enebeli. On Instagram, TikTok, and X, you can find me with my handle __ I am Charis, IAMCHARIS __ I am Charis on TikTok, Instagram, and X. On LinkedIn, I am Nkechi Charis Enebeli. On Facebook, Nkechi Charis Enebeli. On Fakastar and on Zora __ I am Charis as well.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you too so much for having me.